All right, guys, what I got here for you today is a set of vintage Craftsman long lever ratchets. They're definitely a bit harder to find these days. As you can see, there's no quick release. They preceded the butterfly selector ratchet or flying V ratchet series. Some interesting features that these guys have are the chrome anvils. So if you can see that there, that's a nice chrome anvil compared to the black oxide anvils that you might see on some of the newer ratchets. Good example is on this 44809 here. You can see how beat up it is and rusty it is. The black oxide just doesn't hold up like a nice chrome plated anvil will. So that was one of the nicer features that they had on these guys, the chrome anvils. You can also find on some of the butterfly selector ratchets, the earlier ones also had these nice chrome anvils instead of the black oxide finish. So something to look out for when you're collecting, when you're looking through, piles of ratchets. The other way that you can identify these is the shape of the raised panel. So you can see here how it's rounded compared to the more square shape or rectangle shape, I should say, on some of the later series raised panel ratchets. I'll give you another example of that for you here. All right, so you can see obviously this is a pretty new one. It's got a totally different shape to the raised panel. Here's another example for you. You got a much different shape of the raised panel. So these were available, like I said, preceding the butterfly selector ratchets. So they were available in the late 1950s, 57 to 59, I believe. I'll have a link to a catalog in the description. I'll throw up a screen grab of the catalog here for you too, if you want to take a look. So these ratchets, they were only made for 2 years. They're a little harder to find. They're also a little bit easily confused with what's known as the intermediate ratchet. So also no quick release. This series actually came after the butterfly selector series and right before the quick release was launched. And you can see the selector lever here is much similar to the selector lever style that you had on the quick release ratchets. So I believe these were made only 1 year. I'll do a video on these once I get a whole set of them together. But I guess something to just be aware of is obviously it's quite easy to confuse these two different ratchets. So if you take the long lever ratchet, you can see there's a big gap right there between the bottom of the selector lever and the ratchet body. That was part of the kind of flaw in the design that probably led to them being only produced for 2 years or so. As you can see, that's a lot of room for it to potentially get bent. These selector levers were definitely infamous for breaking off. So it's a bit hard to find them these days, especially in good condition like this. And I'll give you a side-by-side shot of this is the intermediate ratchet, and in the right hand is the long lever, or some people even call them a high profile selector ratchet. So something to think about when you're out collecting ratchets. Like I said, another way to keep them apart when you're looking at them is the differences in the raised panel, right? So on the top, you got a very rounded raised panel on the corners, and you have a more rectangle shaped raised panel on the bottom. So I think that's about it, you guys. There was only 3 of these that were offered. There was no flex heads, no 15-inch long versions or anything fancy. It's a 3-piece set. So at least in that regard, your target is a little smaller. If you're trying to collect these, there's only 3. There's not 6 or 7 like some of these other ratchet series. But I hope you enjoyed this video. Stay tuned. I'll have more ratchet videos for you.